Do you know what's seriously underrated? Sleep. Do you know that chronic sleep deprivation can mimic mild to moderate forms of both anxiety and depression? Now, many among us know the physical benefits to getting more sleep. We think more clearly, we are more alert, we stay physically healthier, our immune system is boosted so we can fight off disease and illness. But what's not talked about nearly as much is the mental health benefits to sleep and the mental health detriments that come with a lack of sleep. So today I want to talk to you about some ways that you can be getting better sleep that go beyond sort of the common everyday advice around, no screens before bed and, no caffeine, how many hours before you go to bed and drinking chamomile tea and kind of all those really common ones. I want to talk to you about some different ones that you may not be aware of and give you some different ways of approaching sleep that hopefully will help you. They have really helped me and they have been really helping the clients that I have been teaching these to. So stay tuned, got some good stuff for you today if sleep is on your list of things you want to prioritize. If you're new here, welcome to our incredible little corner on the internet. Take a second to introduce yourself in the comment section below. If you're back again, always good to have you. Special shout out to my shifters. Love seeing you show up and comment in the comments. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. The button's about right down there. If you get something out of this talk, if I could ask you to hit the like button, that would be amazing. Either way, my name is Kristina, and I am a registered clinical therapist, a researcher, a coach, and the creator of my membership community, the Shift Society, where we are taking the work that we are talking about here to a deeper level. I teach you a step-by-step mind and emotional management process that is foolproof for any situation. And then you are supported and guided and held accountable and in community doing this work the whole way through. You can get more information about the Shift Society in the description below. I help heart-centered humans break through the crap that is holding them back so that they can like themselves and their lives more every day. And sleep, it is one of the basics. It is one of the things that most people struggle to prioritize, but most people are being significantly impacted mentally and emotionally by their sleep deprivation. Now, this can be a bit of a tough one, I'm going to be honest, because if you are struggling with anxiety or depression, those two mental health issues are typically sleep disruptors. So if you are struggling significantly with anxiety or depression, please do talk to a therapist, talk to your doctor, figure out sort of some more maybe aggressive interventions. But for those of you who are like, you know what, I want to get into some better sleep, I want to figure out how to sleep better, sleep longer, have better quality sleep, and just be making that a priority in my life, then this talk is for you. So it's really interesting because one thing that I've learned is that some people, when they are sleep deprived, they mostly just get physically tired. But for the rest of us, when we are sleep deprived, we get more emotional. We have a harder time coping with our emotions. We have a harder time coping with life on a daily basis. We might feel more kind of empty or depressed or more anxious and stressed. And everything in life, all of our emotions just feel heightened. And because I am an advocate for really paying attention to yourself and figuring out what you need to be feeling better, to be living better, to be thriving, not just surviving, I have been doing a lot of work around sleep, especially for myself and those that I work with for whom sleep affects to a great extent, mentally and emotionally. And that is a lot more of us than we realize. If you are struggling with anxiety or depression, you're feeling overwhelmed, you're feeling overstressed, you're having a hard time coping with your emotions, the first thing to look at is, are you getting enough sleep? Or are you making that kind of like, oh yeah, I'll get to that later, or oh yeah, I've got so much to do, or oh yeah, I just, like scrolling at night or watching TV at night, and well, I am kind of tired all the time and I am staying up too late on my screen or on Netflix or whatever that is. I'm staying up too late doing that, but I just really like that, and it's not that big of a deal to be going off of like 4, 5, 6 hours a night. And I'm going to tell you, if you think it's not a big deal, but you are also struggling with your mental or emotional state on a daily basis, then it actually is a big deal. And so really looking at what is it costing me to be sleep deprived, and how might it benefit me if I was getting more sleep? And if you're like, well, I don't know, maybe it wouldn't benefit me that much. Okay, then try it. Do a little experimenting with it. See how it feels when you get more sleep. And for me personally, I have done a lot of experimenting with it, and I see how much better I feel when I get sleep. And so it's a priority for me. Now, I'm going to tell you something. For those of you who are night people, you are my people, and it can be harder for us to get to bed earlier. I really like the night. I feel my most vital self between about 7 at night and midnight. That's when I feel the most clear-headed, I feel the most energetic, I feel the most motivated. So I usually do work kind of later into the night, which can be a bit of a problem if I also am then getting up early to be getting my kids ready and out the door for school. And that's what happened last night. So I was up actually really late working. I was up until about 1:30 in the morning working. And then I still had to get up early to get my kids up and ready and off to school. And for me, getting, that kind of 5.5 hours of sleep was not going to be enough. I could have done it, and we all can do it for a day or two and just sort of muscle through. But doing that regularly and making that a pattern and, surviving off of coffee or energy drinks or whatever that is, it just doesn't feel good. And because I do that regularly, I stay up quite late and then I'm up early with my kids, I have kind of developed a little bit of a workaround so that I'm not sleep deprived. So for me, I am up late working. So I am taking that time to work. I am very productive during that time. So then what I do, and what I did this morning, was after I dropped my kids off at school, I came home, I put some laundry in, I got a few other little things done, and then I got back into bed and I slept for like 2 hours, and it felt so good. And then I woke up and I was feeling rested and I was feeling great, and then I got myself ready, prepared my talks to be doing on YouTube, and here we are. And I feel bright and I feel clear-headed and I feel energized and I feel good. It's so interesting how people will often say, well, I can't sleep because I need to be productive. But what if getting adequate rest was part of being productive? It was productive to sleep. It was productive to, if you're good at sleeping at night and you can kind of develop a routine around that, then it's productive to get to bed at a time that's going to allow you to get kind of those 7 to 8 hours at night. Or it was productive if you're a night person but also have to be up earlier in the day, if you got that shorter sleep, but then it was productive to nap during the day. What if we changed that? Instead of saying that I don't want to waste my time by sleeping, what if we said that is one of the best ways that I can honor my time, is by sleeping, by being rested, by investing in my mental and emotional well-being and feeling good, feeling bright, feeling clear, feeling present, which are all really hard things to do when we are chronically sleep deprived. So practically speaking, what is going to help you get more sleep? or what is going to help you feel more rested. These are a few that I've researched, that I've practiced myself, that I teach to others, and that I find are the most helpful for me, aside from, those basic ones around the caffeine and the screens and, not doing a lot of really stimulating activity right before bed, having like a regular time that you're going to bed every night, all of that stuff. We all kind of know that stuff already. Here are a few that you might not be quite as aware of, not quite as common. First one, if you are someone who runs anxious, take a pen and paper to bed. If you are someone who has a brain that likes to think and go and you can't turn it off and you're like, oh, I don't want to forget this, or oh, I got to make sure I do this, and your brain just like comes up with all this stuff right as your head hits the pillow and you are about to go to sleep, your brain just like lights up. That's my brain. So what I do is I just dump out anything that my brain is coming up with. I write it on a piece of paper, and it's interesting how often these things that I'm like, oh my gosh, I cannot forget this. I have to remember to do this. This should just be like awful if I forget it. And then I have to write it down, and the next day I'm like, actually, it's really not that big of a deal. I find it so fascinating how our brains make these big dramatic deals out of things at night when we're trying to sleep that really in the light of day aren't always that important. So, whole other bit of research for another day to understand that one. But taking a pen and paper to bed, get that stuff out of your head so that your brain's not swirling around it. You're not trying to remember. You're not trying to make sure that you don't forget it and trying to figure out how you're going to remember it the next day. Just get it on a piece of paper and then you won't forget. The next one is be tired. So make yourself tired. Now, people are going to approach this in different ways around exercise, but what I find for me is if I exercise a little bit later in the day, then it tires me out. So not right before bed, because I don't want to get my heart rate up and then be all overstimulated before I go to bed, but if I exercise a little bit later in the day, it wears me out. And then I'm more tired when I get to bedtime. Some people love exercising in the morning and power to them, but I find that if I exercise first thing in the morning, it kind of wears me out for the day. I mean, I guess I could do a lighter exercise, just go for a power walk or something, but I am I love a good sweat. I love exhausting myself during a workout and pushing myself in that way because I feel good, I feel strong, I feel vital, but it does wear me out. And so trying to get yourself tired. If you are someone who tends to be sitting all day, you're at a desk, you're at a table, you're on a couch, or you go from the desk to the couch and you're not actually using your body, being physical, it's hard to get rest when your body isn't tired, when you haven't expended that energy. So getting exercise. And for me, test it out, see if it works better for you, doing it a little later in the day to see if that kind of wears you out and makes you more tired when it comes to bedtime. The next thing that can be really helpful when you're laying in bed is practicing square breathing. So if you tend to be kind of wound up, kind of keyed up, you're kind of vibrating, your brain is kind of going, just laying in bed and doing something called square breathing. And I like this one as opposed to just practicing deep breathing, which a lot of people say, just do your deep breathing. I like square breathing because it gives your brain something to focus on and helps prevent it from wandering. So you might have great ambition to be laying in bed and doing your breathing, and you start to breathe, and you're I'm just gonna do some deep breathing, and you start breathing, and maybe 1.5 breaths in, you're oh, what if I forget to do this tomorrow? Oh, I got to put this on my to-do list. Oh, what did that person say? And I wonder what they meant by that. Oh my gosh, I wonder, if I figured that thing out that I was working on, oh, I didn't check in with my boss about that, right? And your brain just starts to go about 1.5 breaths in because it doesn't really have anything to focus on. But if you are practicing square breathing, your brain has something that it is doing in that moment. Your body has something that it is doing, and that can be a really beneficial way to naturally calm yourself, slowing things down, getting more blood into your central nervous system through that oxygen, into your brain, into your body, just really calming the nervous system through the breath. So square breathing, really simple. All you need to do is be able to count to 4. And if you can do that, you can do this exercise. So you just breathe in for 4 slow counts. So like 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold that full lung, those full lungs for 4 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then exhale for 4 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4. And hold empty lungs for 4 counts. And do that 4 times. And you will find that that really helps to calm your entire system, which then makes it a lot easier for you to be able to fall asleep if that's something you struggle with. The next thing is a little bit more involved, but really helpful as well, is doing mindfulness, doing a mindfulness exercise before bed, a mindfulness meditation, and one that is guided. Again, if you tend to have an overactive mind, then it's going to be harder for you to just sort of sit there in silence and meditate. It's going to take a lot more work to like keep your brain from, being like a hamster on a wheel going around and around. So doing something that is guided, putting some earphones in, or just having, your phone beside your bed with the speaker on, and listening to it like that. I have a great one that I've put together just for this to help you clear your mind at night, to help you kind of find that place of calm and peace and to stop those racing thoughts. It's my 10-minute guided mindfulness exercise, completely free. And just click the link in the description below and put in your information, and then it will be arriving right in your inbox. And you can listen to it right now if you are watching this talk, listening to this talk before bed, and you want that, or just whenever, have it for later today. Do it now just to bring yourself into a state of calm, peace, and presence. You can do it now. So it's great for sleep, it's great for the day, it's great for any time. Thousands of you have it already and love it, get emails all the time about how much you love that one. So that one is in the description below. The next one. If you tend to struggle with anxiety, and that is what is keeping you from falling asleep, deal with the anxiety. Do what you need to do to manage your anxiety. And I know that sounds, a little bit cheeky to say that, just be like, just go deal with your anxiety. I know it's not so simple, but if you are struggling with anxiety right now, make that a priority. There are so many resources out there. I mean, there's therapy, there's coaching, there is psychopharmaceuticals, right? Like medication is an option if we're doing that with counseling to really kind of get in there and deal with things. There's my membership community, the Shift Society, where we go deep into dealing with mental and emotional stuff and really getting a handle on our mental and emotional well-being and dealing with things like anxiety and depression and stress and overwhelm and self-esteem struggles and kind of those big ones. So you can join us there, get on the wait list. The information is right down there. And then in the meantime, I teach some really practical, research-backed and effective tools for dealing with, for treating anxiety and depression in my book, Drive Your Own Darn Bus. So you can just grab that right now. If you tend to be someone that likes listening to things, stick the earphones in, get it on Audible. Just go on your phone, grab it on Audible, and you can start listening now and learning research-backed tools and strategies to treat and overcome your biggest struggles with anxiety and depression. So that's going to be a big one, because it is creating that cycle. When we're struggling with anxiety and depression, it makes it hard for us to sleep. They are big sleep interrupters. And then when our sleep is being interrupted, it can significantly increase or exacerbate anxiety and depression. So breaking that cycle and doing whatever you need to do to break that cycle for your mental health and well-being is going to make a big difference in your life, obviously. And then the next one, I mentioned this a little bit before. If you are someone who tends to struggle with getting good sleeps at night, If you are in that phase where you can't turn your brain off, you find that you wake up, in the middle of the night after a few hours, and you can't get back to sleep, and you find sort of those long stretches of sleep at night really difficult, then nap. There's a lot of people who really struggle to turn their brains off and sleep at night, but who have no problem napping. It's so interesting. So if that is you, if you're like, you know what, I have no problem napping, I find napping really easy, but I feel guilty because I'm not being productive, what if we saw napping as productive? What if you just were like, you know what, accepting that I find long stretches of sleep right now difficult to do, difficult to be consistent with. My body, my brain is just not in the place where it is giving me that right now. Nap. I was working with someone a few years ago who was struggling with pretty significant depression, actually. And through our conversations, we learned that he was pretty chronically sleep deprived. They had a really hard time sleeping at night. So what we did is just a little experiment. I'm like, okay, how about you talk to your partner, you kind of get her on board with this, and we work this out so that when you get home from work, you can have a 45-minute to an hour-long nap. And then, like if she's doing kind of things to kind of get things ready for dinner, get that stuff done, then you, because you tend to not sleep as much at night, you're up a little later, then you do whatever it is, your part, later on in the evening, and you work that out with her. And he was like, okay, he got his partner on board, they figured this out. He would come home from work while she was getting things ready for dinner. He would nap for 45 minutes to an hour. And within a few days, his symptoms and experience of depression went down so significantly that we didn't have a ton of other work to do in therapy. We had things that we needed to talk about and deal with, but the main thing, he was feeling so much better, so much more clear-headed. His mood was better. His outlook on life was better. He was not feeling so hopeless and trapped and helpless. Yeah, it actually is a big deal. Now, I'm not saying that if you're getting good, everyone who gets good sleep never struggles with their minds or emotions. That's not true. But it is, for many of us, playing a bigger part than we realize. So, square breathing is going to be a big one. Get that. So I guess I'll start at the beginning of the list. Instead of going in the middle here, get that pen and paper, take that to bed. Get your exercise, get tired, wear yourself out physically. It's a big deal, right? It matters. It makes a big difference. Practice that square breathing, do a mindfulness exercise, get my book to start dealing with the anxiety and doing that deeper work through my book, Drive Your Own Darn Bus. Nap, if that is something that works for you. You can kind of piece together good amounts of sleep if you are sleeping some at night and some during the day through a nap. And if you find napping easier to do, then do it. If you get a good rest when you are napping, then do it. Make that a priority. Make that part of being productive. Let me know. What helps you feel good? Do you notice a difference when you are sleeping well? What helps you get a good sleep? Let's crowdsource some things for those of you who have been making sleep more of a priority, who maybe struggled before with sleep. What are some things that have been particularly helpful for you that have made a difference? Let us know in the comments section below. Glad to have this conversation with you. Glad to be here with you today. Until next time, take good care of yourselves, take good care of those around you. Bye for now.